or should I say, huh?
Fried pods.
No. Alright, what is up and welcome back to another video. We are once again out here on the streets of New York City. So, what's on the docket for today? So, I'm currently on my way to the gym, and oh yeah, just filmed a little physique update. So, I will hand it off to Inside Austin. Alright, thanks for the handoff, Outside Austin. So, quick little physique update here. So, again, starting off, relaxed pose front, relaxed pose to the side. I like to lift my arms up to kind of show off the belly here. Relaxed pose in back, and then relaxed posed on the other side here, and then hit it with the little flex. So I realized my camera last week wasn't panning down far enough so you couldn't even see my legs while I was flexing it. So I like to do a little bit of a like leg shot here as well, just because I feel like for everyone your body fat distribution is gonna be slightly different. So it's nice to kind of get the legs in there as well, because some people be like, oh, you know, I'm 13% body fat or I'm 18% body fat, and actually your body fat distribution affects that a lot. Because some people will hold more fat in their legs, some people will hold more fat in their upper body. And so when you see the entire body, you actually are able to get a much global perspective on your true body fat percentage. Not that you can ever really get it 100% accurate, but to get as close as possible. Which I think might be another topic for another video, but like all these body fat measuring things, I'm not going to say that they're a load of shit, but people definitely give them a lot more weight and credit than they're actually worth. Because the only real, and I remember hearing a quote from one of my professors in university, that the only true real way to know your actual body fat percentage is an autopsy, where, you know, they take you apart and they actually measure and take out all your fat and measure your fat, right? So, but with that being said, these machines will only be so accurate. Even the so-called golden standard of DEXA, it's not like super accurate, just because there are going to be some error margins, and there are different ways that they measure body fat percentage, and it's just, how do I want to put it? Like, it can be as accurate, but then it's also, some people, you can literally look up other people taking DEXA scans online that they can literally do different things and like drink water or like do things differently, and then their measured body fat percentage is just wildly like different from another day and time and circumstance that they took their measurements at. So that just goes to show you that these machines are only so good, and there's never like 100% true accurate way of doing it, even though some methods might tout that, oh, we're like super accurate compared to everything else, and nah, not really. But anyways, going off my little spiel here, which I think I'll actually hand it off to Outside Austin in terms of, I forgot to hit a little tricep action here. I'll hand it off to Outside Austin to kind of talk about training philosophy and all that, which I believe it's going to be a big part of this video. But anyways, quick little physique update, and then another update as to how this past week went. So today I weighed in at 172. Honestly, looking at my weight measurements for this week, my weight hasn't changed all that much, but I'm actually not discouraged, because I actually do feel a difference in my body. Like one of the things I feel like start to kind of go first. So I tend to store a lot of my body fat in like the lower stomach region, and then also the lower back region here, and I can even just feel like just holding this, I definitely feel a little bit thinner. Now obviously I'm not making as much progress as I would like, but it's also nice to notice these small little changes and just keep you encouraged, and that's what keeps the momentum going. what I find that a lot of people do is that they'll get progress super quickly, and then that progress starts to slow down, and then they're not focused on the right things. They're only focused on the scale, and they don't notice all these other metrics of changes, and that's what leads you to be discouraged. That's what leads you to give up. That's what leads you to burnout, and you're like, I'm not seeing the progress I want, and then you give up 12 weeks in. So this is something that I actively do myself and my clients. And as someone who has gone through that phase of looking for the quick weight loss, looking for these quick changes in your body, I can say that it's just unhealthy to be in that mindset of constantly making progress, losing progress, making progress, losing progress, and it's just a tiring cycle of just being stuck there. If you want to make that long-term progress, you have to focus on these other ones. You have to focus on other metrics if you want to see that consistent long-term change. So for myself, even though I might not be seeing weight loss, I'm feeling these changes. I actually feel better. My workouts are feeling better now. And granted that I'm not trying to lose a bunch of weight, I'd probably have another like 10 pounds to lose if I really wanted to get super shredded. But that's kind of like a goal, but it's also not like a hard goal that I'm like, okay, I need to do this. But it's just more so like cutting down a little bit, and more so just feeling better, feeling more energy, and just not eating as much, not feeling bloated and stuffed all the time. And definitely something like when I flex my stomach like this, it definitely feels flatter too, because although my diet hasn't been the best for this past week, I still am making these changes. I'm still chalking up some of those wins of like, okay, I'm eating less, making healthier choices overall, I'm eating out less. So there's just all these other metrics that you can look at. But yeah, and then also I actually was able to go out a couple of times and have a few drinks with friends, and there was even one night where I had way more than a few drinks, I can tell you that. I went to a holiday party hosted by one of my friends, which I'll probably hand it off to Outside Austin to kind of talk about, my mindset around training, and then also talk about alcohol consumption a little bit as it relates to weight loss and fat loss, because I think that's a big point. That's something a lot of my clients have been dealing with recently, with the holidays, and they have social events and stuff, and especially living in New York City, I always say that it's a much more encouraging environment to be an alcoholic. So I'll let Outside Austin handle all the talk about training and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the update for the physique update for this week. But yeah, handing it back off to you, Outside Austin. All right, thanks, Inside Austin. Now, back to the conversation at hand. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over, actually I'm on my way to the gym, and I'm gonna hit the same leg workout that I covered last week, but actually did end up filming a back and triceps workout yesterday. So I'm gonna overlay that footage, and then I'm gonna do a little commentary on that. But in today's video, I do wanna cover mainly my training philosophy, how I personally like to train, how it has evolved over the years. And yeah, but we're gonna cover the workout first, and then I'm gonna sit down and chill somewhere and kind of talk through all that. All right, what is going on? Post-production Austin again in the house, doing a workout commentary for you. So today's workout was a combination of some forearm and grip training combined with a back and triceps workout courtesy of Eugene Teo. So first exercise, just some normal overhand grip barbell holds. It was a series of like 5 or 6 sets, starting from pretty much heavy weight to failure for like 5 seconds, and then slowly progressed my way down. Then the second exercise, I had some plate drop-in catches, working some of that finger strength there. And then now we have just some standard plate holds. So I'm just working on pinching as hard as I can with the fingers and holding it for 10 seconds, I believe. So the last 2 exercises were like 4 or 5 sets each on each side. Now we're going into the bodybuilding stuff here. So some inverted rows. Body weight's too easy, so I added some weight here. Yeah, nice little body weight movement. And honestly, nowadays I feel like people get way too much about like stability machines and all that, when I think I actually got some pretty damn good progress focusing on like free weights and body weight movements. So people just want to be super anal about stuff, and you don't have to milk out every single freaking percentage in order to see the gains you want. You can have a range of exercises that are pretty decent at hitting the muscle groups that you want to hit, and then as long as you're progressing over time, as long as you're training close to failure, you're going to see the results. So try not to get too much into what I like to call this mental masturbation, where you're just focusing on every single little thing, the sets, the reps, the optimal split and all that. So yeah, for whatever that's worth. And then did some lat pull downs there, just some standard lat pull downs. I like using the mag grip bars slightly around shoulder width or slightly wider than shoulder width, and then just focus on pulling down. And again, this is my first week breaking into the program, so I'm not going too hard, not going anywhere too close to failure or pushing too hard on things. So next exercise here, we have the rear delt cable pulls. So for these, I like to set cable high, arm stays about 45 degrees away from the body and stay straight, and then you just kind of pull back and you should really feel your rear delts. As long as you're really getting your shoulders and elbows as far back as you can, you should definitely feel your rear delts on these. But yeah, there's that, and then this is the second and last exercise, and then just finishing up here. Oh yeah, sets and reps, basically for the more the bodybuilding stuff, because it's the first week, generally 2 to 3 sets of each exercise, anywhere between 8 to 15 reps. So pretty moderate rep ranges, and then finishing off things here with a cable crossover tricep extension, just a solid triceps movement to hit all 3 heads, and then it's also just nice because it's stable. It does all the things you want for your triceps. So yeah, just finished up this set here, and then that was pretty much for the workout. This all took about an hour total. But yeah, post-production Austin signing off. Okay, so busy afternoon. So let me get you up to speed. So finished my gym session, went back home to eat lunch, and then actually get my meal preps going. I did the first half of my chicken in the air fryer, and then right now the second half of my chicken is cooking. And so decided to, and that's gonna take about 20-ish minutes or so. So there's a timer in the air fryer, so fingers crossed that it doesn't burn my place down. It shouldn't, because there's a timer, but on the off chance that you are the insurance agency insuring the apartment that I'm living in, you didn't hear anything. But yeah, currently we're out here. We are on, 60th Street, and I just finished up a haul at Trader Joe's. Not really a haul, I literally just went there to grind some coffee. So what I usually like to do for my coffee is that I'll just buy bulk from Costco. Just buy like the big, was it like 5 pounds or something like that? My favorite is the Colombian Supremo one. Oh man, that one's so good. But I'll usually just buy the whole beans, grind half of the bag, and then save the other half of the whole beans, because I know that the coffee does taste better when it's freshly ground, or it tends to hold more of its flavor when it's whole beans. So that's what I do to save a little bit of money and still maintain some decent quality of coffee. So yeah, did that, and we're currently walking on the way home. But yeah, it's actually a really nice day out. As you can see, I'm out here in a t-shirt in the middle of December, and sun shining out here, and right there is Queensboro Bridge. There you can see those are the lines for the tram. I don't know if you can see. There's one about to depart, but yeah, that's the station where it departs, and then that's where it goes across to back to Roosevelt Island. So I'm gonna make my way home. Actually need to drop off my coffee. I also need to take a piss, so that's gonna be about another like 10-minute walk or so, and then I'll catch you in a park or something where I'll talk to you about more of my training philosophy and actually get to sit down and chat with you. So chat with you in a little bit. All right, we are out here at Grand Central Terminal. So gonna do my next clip here, and I'm gonna be honest, I do feel a little bit nervous doing this video clip in front of all these people. And part of me thinks like, oh, what do these people think of me? Why do they judge me for being an influencer out here, talking to a mic, filming myself, standing in the middle of the way? Which, to be fair, yes, but also I need to make content, I need to make a living, we need to be on this grind. So I actually got told off by an MTA employee that, or should I say, huh?
Tripods.
No. No tripods. He didn't even explain why, but I'm assuming it's just because it's in the way and it might be dangerous. So I'm often set my tripod up in the corner here, so there's no possible way that anyone will run into it. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now also, I feel like a news anchor out here, reporting live from Grand Central Terminal. Or should I say, I'm more of a news wanker. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive in. So let's start from the very beginning of my fitness journey back in middle school. And honestly, my training philosophy back then, there was really no training philosophy. I didn't even think about like what I did in the gym. I actually got a program from one of my close friends I got started. He was watching a lot of YouTube fitness at the time, and he just kind of handed this program off to me, and he's like, oh, I've been following this. He was known as the Jack Dude, so I just kind of followed his advice. Of course, he had the results to prove it. So I followed that program to a T, saw some progress actually, just because it's more of a structured program. I went in there, he just told me just try to increase the weight over time and all that. So I did see some decent progress. And then back then, it still was kind of a pastime for me though. Like I didn't really take that fitness stuff all that seriously. So I would go to the gym during the school year, and then during winter break, summer break and all that, I would fall off and basically not do it anymore. And then of course I would see progress, I would lose progress, I'd see progress, and so I was just in this cycle. And I didn't think of it much at the time because I just didn't take it seriously. But then once I got into high school, I started going more regularly. I started actually going through the breaks, and I saw some decent progress. But then nothing really clicked for me yet. I was still going to the gym and doing it with friends, and all we would do is just hit basically upper body. So all we would do is just like hit bench, hit chest, hit shoulders, hit back, and then that was pretty much it. And I didn't really do legs all that much. In fact, I hated squats. My squats were terrible. My mobility was terrible because I never actually did them. And I thought maybe I think it was just because it was hard, which is why I was averse to doing them at the time. But yeah, that was basically my training philosophy. I would just go to the gym and try to do a random heavy weight, and yeah, I saw a decent amount of progress. Like newbie gains did kick in, but it was never to the degree of like, holy shit, I look like I lift. I actually got significantly stronger, that kind of thing. And it wasn't until I went into college, then I was like, okay, I need more of a routine. I moved from Hawaii to Oregon, and that's when I was like, it clicked in my head that I was like, okay, I need to make a major lifestyle change where I need to start taking the gym more seriously. I need to start taking my academics in school more seriously. And that's when I started doing more research and actually got a program from Kino Body, and then actually started following it more religiously. And that's when I actually started seeing progress, because I was following a structured program. The program actually outlined the philosophy behind the training style and like why we do certain lifts the way that we do them, with what kind of form we do it in. And then also the main key thing was focusing on progressive overload. And then during this training flow, that's when I actually started seeing progress. I was like putting on pounds and pounds of muscle in about 6 to 12 months time. That's when I really started seeing the progress in my body actually changes. And I was like, holy shit, like this is it. Like I did unlock something, and I was slowly figuring out. At the time, I felt like I had the key. I was like doing intermittent fasting. I was following these key lifts. But looking back now, hindsight 2020, I didn't have it all figured out. I found that I figured out most of it, but then there's still few key things I was missing. If I were to go back and say what mistakes I was making, it was marrying myself to a specific philosophy or to specific lifts, because I thought, oh man, I have to do incline press, I have to do pull-ups, I have to do Bulgarian split squat, I have to do these specific exercises if I want to see the progress that I want. And sure, yes, you're only going to be able to do so many exercises, but also at the same time, it's about being able to vary up those exercises when you get bored. It's about being able to pivot, and it's about also changing up exercises once in a while so that you don't encourage overuse injuries, because when you do the same movement pattern over and over again, that's what tends to increase your chances of overuse injuries and chronic injuries, and I would say that's the number one cause of why people get injured. But then as I slowly kind of evolved away from that style of training, I started learning more about the optimal hypertrophy trend, I want to say, started coming about, and people were talking about machines and doing just training close to failure, doing lower volume. And I got hooked onto this philosophy, and I started actually seeing a lot of the progress for myself. And looking back now, I would say it did have a lot of good takeaways from it, where focusing on lower volume, letting your body actually recover, because back then I didn't take any deloads. I just kept beating my body to shit, and then I was wondering why I had all these chronic injuries, why my body was hurting, why I was just feeling fatigued. And yeah, looking back, I wish I had taken the more lower volume approach and focusing on training hard, yes, but also really focusing on and optimizing on recovery at that. And then after that, as that slowly got
learned more about anatomy. I started knowing more about like physical therapy, and I actually worked at a physical therapy clinic for a while. I slowly started to realize that, hey, I actually need to train all these different little muscle groups, and that is actually good for you. And then I started kind of connecting the dots between strength training and mobility, and how a lot of those things are interconnected, and how you can actually do both at the same time, and how actually I could step away from the whole optimizing thing. I don't have to 100% optimize my workouts towards hypertrophy. I can actually do 70-80% of my workouts geared towards hypertrophy, but then leave the other 20 to 30% more so towards mobility, more so towards the PT stuff, and helping my recovery and fixing all these little weak links in my body that lead to chronic injury and etc. So slowly evolving with that. Now I'm like slowly fine-tuning it. Now I feel like I have all the big pieces in play where my knowledge has brought me to. And this is also leads to my programming for my clients, where I program it for more well-rounded sake. So we do focus on strength and hypertrophy 70-80% of the time, but the other 20-30%, we can have some of these things where we focus more on mobility, we focus more on stretching, and realizing that, hey, you can actually have the majority of your program geared towards strength and hypertrophy. You can build a strong and great physique, but you can also focus in the other quarter part of your program to focus on the things that people don't find as fun, or maybe it's to make it more fun and not feel like, oh, I'm only doing this to build muscle and things are just boring and you're just only following one specific style of training over and over again, because it can get pretty tiring and fatiguing, which I found for myself, especially mentally more than anything, just constantly having to push close to failure, doing the same 10-20 movements over and over again, but switching it up from time to time, including some explosiveness, some plyometrics, some more athleticism stuff, including more mobility stuff, and cycling it in and out. It makes the program much more fun to stick to, and it makes it much more interesting, because when you've been doing it for a while, you're like, I'm only putting on ounces of muscles at this point. So whereas if I do mobility, I'm like, okay, I can actually feel that I'm getting more mobile. I can actually feel that I'm making more progress in other areas. So that's kind of the culmination of what my training has evolved to at this point. But yeah, that's a quick little recap at Grand Central here. So totally stepping outside of my comfort zone here, but I'm glad to have done it. And at the end of the day, I realized that, hey, people are gonna be looking at me, people are gonna be like making quick thoughts and judgments, but also I'm like, I don't give a shit, and all I have to do is just focus in on talking to you and really sharpening my I don't give a fuck mentality. So yeah, thanks for watching through this clip all the way, and I'll catch you in the next clip. Signing off here at Grand Central Terminal. All right, I'm gonna be honest, I am exhausted after a full day of training clients, and I just wanna head home and eat some dinner and go to bed. So I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I'm gonna save the alcohol talk for the next video, and I'm actually probably gonna do it over a drink, so makes sense. The matches with the storytelling and all that. So yeah, there you go. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff that helps the channel out. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.